So the footage you just saw there is drone footage from the aftermath of the tornado that hit my community 2 years ago today. So on June 17th, 2014, my house, along with approximately 100 other homes, were hit by an EF2 tornado. So this is my story really about what happened, the aftermath of what happened. So like I said, the tornado hit my home on June 17th, about 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So on June 17th in 2014, I was off work that day. It was a Tuesday. So that day I was at home alone with my daughter. She was also sick, so she had stayed home with me. We hadn't done much at all that day because we were both sick. Basically, we took a nap in the afternoon and we were watching movies. Around 3 in the afternoon, my husband called me and said, "Can you please make sure the windows are closed and put the air conditioning on?" I'm convinced that's what saved our roof from being completely ripped off, but I'll get to that in a minute. So I agreed because it was so hot and humid that day that I closed all the windows and I went and put the air conditioning on. So flash forward a couple hours, my daughter and I were in the living room, which is this room that I'm in right now, and we were watching TV. It was raining, but it wasn't anything out of the ordinary, like it was regular rain. But all of a sudden, like the wind kind of changed and the rain started hitting the glass sideways, like it was actually hitting the glass. So I looked out the window, like where I'm sitting right now in my living room. There's this couch, and then there's a window on either side of the couch. And I was sitting at on the other side, and facing this way. So out of the corner of my eye, I kind of saw something fly by. I'm like, what the heck was that? So I turned and looked, and I saw what looked to be a piece of fence board. Like it was, so what looked to be like a big piece of fence board fly past the window. So my gut told me to grab Brianna and run for the basement. So that's what I did. She was on the other couch playing on the iPad. So I grabbed her, scooped her up, and we ran for the basement. As I started running down the basement stairs, I'm literally on the second step from the top, the windows start breaking. Like literally, if I had not have moved when I did, we probably would have been covered in glass, covered in it. So I'm running down the stairs. I get to the bottom of the stairs, and like all I can hear, it's like a freight train is going through my house. That's what it sounds like, a freight train going through my house. I hear windows breaking. I hear this just god awful howling noise going through my house. I'm thinking about it right now. I'm shaking because that sound will never leave me. Like once you've experienced that, you will never leave it. Like it will never leave you, because it's embedded in your brain. It's ridiculous. If you've been through a tornado, you know what I'm talking about. You know the sound that it makes, and it is absolutely terrifying. Like I have so much anxiety towards bad weather now that there's some days that like I feel like I have a grown man sitting on my chest. Like I have that much pressure on my chest because of my anxiety, because of the weather. So anyway, I went off on a little bit of a tangent there. So we stayed in the basement. I don't know how long for. It felt like an hour, but it was probably only a couple of minutes. So once the sound subsided and it was just dead silent, I couldn't hear a thing. Everything was just dead silence. So I was still holding on to my daughter. So we went back up the stairs. So as soon as I turned the corner to come back in the living room, all I could see all over the floor was insulation, glass, it was just everywhere. like my curtains were like half hanging out the window, half ripped. It was just surreal. I'm like what the fuck, basically. I couldn't believe what had just happened. So there was glass absolutely everywhere. I'm barefoot because I'm home. Like, you don't wear shoes in the house. So I ran over to the couch because my phone was sitting on the couch. I grabbed my phone and went back into the basement because I'm like, I'm safe down here. Like, I know, like, if it comes back or if there's another one, I'm already in the basement. So I tried to call my husband to say we just got hit by a tornado. Like, I'm freaking out. I'm having a panic attack in the basement because I don't know what to do. Every time I try to make a phone call, it drops. Like, I have no signal in my basement. It just drops. It keeps dropping. So I'm getting frustrated and I'm already really stressed out because I can't get a hold of Steven. So I keep calling, trying to get a hold of him, but it's not connecting. All of a sudden I hear somebody banging on my front door. Banging on my front door. So I go upstairs with Brianna, and it's my neighbor from across the street banging on the door. He's like, "Are you guys okay? Are you guys okay? Is everybody okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, we're fine." He's like, "Anybody else home?" I'm just like, "No, me and Brianna, that's it." He's like, "Okay, stay where you are." I'm like, "All right." He's like, "Just stay where you are." At this point, I'm like, "Okay, I'm gonna stand at the front door. Everybody, there's no glass here. I'm gonna stand here." So I called Steven and I finally got a hold of him. I'm like, "Steven, a tornado just hit our house." And he's like, You're lying. You're bullshit. No, that didn't happen." He's like, "You're exaggerating. A tornado did not hit the house." I'm like, "Steven, I'm looking at glass all over the living room right now. A tornado just hit our house." He's like, "Oh." He's like, "Are you sure you're not exaggerating?" I'm like, "Steven, I'm not exaggerating." So he says, "I can't leave right now because the weather's so bad here. I can't leave work yet." So I'm like, "Okay." So the next thing I do, I'm like, "I don't know." He's like, "I need you to go downstairs and turn off the gas." Because he's thinking rationally and I'm not. So of course he talks me through how to turn off the gas. So I went back downstairs, turned off the gas. And I came back up. I'm like, I don't know what to do. Like, I have no clue what I'm doing. I'm freaking out. Don't know what I'm doing. So I called my in-laws. My parents at the time were actually in England. They were on vacation. So I called my in-laws. My mother-in-law answered. And I'm like, "Cheryl, a tornado just hit the house." And I'm freaking out. And she's like, "What?" I'm like, "A tornado hit the house." So she's like, "Hold on just a second." She puts my father-in-law on the phone. And he's like, "What's wrong?" And I'm like, "A tornado just hit the house." He's like, "Are you sure?" I'm like, "Yes, a tornado just hit the house." He's like, "Okay, stay calm. We're going to come get you." So I hung up the phone and they were on their way to come get us. At this time, I'm still freaking out because my son was not at home. He was at his before and after school daycare, which is on the other side of the subdivision, and I have no clue if he is safe, B, did their house get hit? I had no clue. So I'm trying to get a hold of the babysitter to see if they're all right. Can't get through. Just nothing. Just busy signal. So I don't know what to do. At this point, a firefighter came and knocked on the door. And he was again making sure that there was nobody else in the house, everybody was safe, there was no injuries. So we said, "No, we're all fine, we're all good." At this point, I decided it was time to maybe venture out onto the street to see what was going on, because at this point, all I'd seen is my house. I don't know what's going on with the rest of the street. So I step onto my front porch and I look over to my left where my neighbor's house should be, and half of it is gone. Literally, the whole second story of their house is gone. Completely shorn right off. The whole second story, gone. All I can see is water just flowing out of their upstairs bathroom, just flowing where I should say where the bathroom should be, just flowing, and somebody is screaming, somebody needs to turn off that water. My street looked like a movie set. Like, it was so surreal. There was firefighters everywhere, cops everywhere, people on the street. Just so at this point, I don't know. Do I still have a roof on my house? Like is it still there? Because I hadn't been upstairs at this point. Because there was glass everywhere. I hadn't gone upstairs. So, I don't know who this lady was, but she was there. She's like, "Are you okay? Do you need help? Can I do anything for you?" I'm like, "I need to see my roof." I'm like, "Is my roof still there?" She's like, "Are you sure that you want to see it?" I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, "I need to know if my roof is still there." So I go down the stairs onto the driveway and walk until I can see the roof. Most of the roof was still there. Not all of it. There was boards of the roof gone, all the shingles were gone, siding missing, windows broken. Yeah, it was unreal. Like, still to this day, every time I think about that, I think of a movie set, because it didn't seem real. It didn't seem like this could be happening to me. How is this possible? Like, how is this possible if this is happening to me right now? So I started freaking out again at the bottom of the driveway, and the lady led me over to the back of a fire truck, and the firefighter sat us down in the fire truck, gave us a blanket, and they gave Brianna a teddy bear. So we sat in the back of this fire truck. They were checking us over, make sure we had no injuries, checking our vitals to make sure everything was good. And at this point, I'm still trying to get a hold of the babysitter. Still trying to call and get through. So he's like, "Do you want us to send somebody over to make sure he's okay?" So I said, "Sure, please, can you do that?" So they're absolutely, what's the address? So I gave them the address. And I obviously was not thinking, because I gave them an address that does not exist. So 10 minutes later, they come back. That address there's no house with that number on it. I'm like, "Oh shit, what the hell is her address?" Like, I don't know what her address is. So I'm like, "I need to go over that. I need to walk over there." I'm like, "Can you please watch my daughter while I go get her stroller, and I'll walk over there." I'm like, "There's no way I can carry her all the way over there, because my arms would be dead by the time I was done." So they held on to her while I went back into the house, got the stroller. So at this point, the only things I have on me is what I'm wearing. I grabbed my purse when I went back into the house, and my phone and my stroller. That's everything that I had when I left my house. So I put her in the stroller, called my best friend because I needed somebody to try and talk me down, because I was so hyped up. I needed somebody just to give me that, to calm me down. So I called Ashley, and she was talking me through it as I'm walking, but the phone it kept dropping. Like, I guess the tornado had hit a cell phone tower or something, because the phone systems were just awful that day. So I continued to walk over to the babysitter's, which basically from here to my house is probably 5 to 10 minute walk. So we were walking, and as I'm walking up to their street, I see in the distance they're on their drive. She's on the driveway with her daycare kids, and they're playing on her driveway. So I'm like, "Oh my god, thank God!" So I start running. Blake sees me, and he starts running towards me. And I'm just crying. I'm like, so relieved that he is okay. He was fine. Thank God. Their house was fine. It was just basically the tornado went down the backyards of the houses. So my house, our house is on this side of the street, and on behind us, those houses were the ones that were majorly affected by the tornado. So where the babysitters was, they didn't get hit. they had gone to the basement because she had seen it. She had seen the tornado coming, so she had the foresight to take all the kids to the basement. So yeah, that's basically living through it. My experience living through it. It was an experience that I will never forget, and one that I never want to experience again, because yeah, it was awful. It was absolutely awful. We were out of our house for about 3 months. It was not a fun experience. I would not wish that experience on anybody. So, sorry, my chest is so, I still have lots of anxiety towards it. But I figured, because today is the 2-year anniversary of the tornado, that I would post this video showing my story and some pictures of the damage. And I really want to thank Sky Eye Media for letting me use their drone footage in this video. The link to the full video is in the description bar if you want to go check that out. But yeah, if you have any questions about my experience or about the tornado, leave them down below and I'll try to answer them. So yeah, that is my experience with an EF2 tornado. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you guys have a great day.